Welcome back to the Keri Croft Show. In this episode, I have the pleasure of sitting down with Tom Walker, 32-year-old model from the UK and former Love Island UK contestant. Tom gets real about Love Island, OnlyFans, his mental health, Chloe, and so much more. You can find Tom at System of Strength Grandview every Wednesday at 9:45 a.m. He teaches in the mix, and if you've taken in the mix, you know that class is amazing on its own. Sprinkle in a little Tom Walker and, well, that's money well spent. You can also find him on the gram at Tom9Walker. I really enjoyed getting to know Tom better and hearing his perspective. I certainly hope you do too. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the Keri Croft Show. Tom Walker.
Keri Croft.
Welcome to the Keri Croft Show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. It's a very big pleasure. I appreciate you.
Pleasure's all mine.
So you sent me this Oasis was one of your jams.
Don't look back in anger.
It probably means something, right? Don't look back in anger.
Yeah, it does. It resonates with me.
So Oasis, this came out, Wonderwall, 1995.
95, I believe, yeah.
And I was 2 years into college. And you were what? In diapers?
5
You were
years
a
old.
wee boy.
Yeah, 1990 I was born, so yeah, 5.
You're just a little tyke, right?
Yep. Yeah, little terror.
I love it. Well, thank you for being here.
Oh,
I've got some more. I've got some more music up my sleeve today too. I can tell a lot about people. I know I always throw people off where I'm like, give me 5 songs.
Yeah.
But I can tell a lot about people, and you obviously have a lot of influence in the UK.
I love music. And when you asked for them 5 songs, I was like going through me and Chloe backwards and forwards, going, I love that song. That's a great track. And she kept saying, but is it your favorite? Like, do you love it? And I'm like, actually, no, this is better and that's better. And I probably had 15, 20 I could have sent you.
Yeah, it is hard. It's kind of hard to pin it down.
Yeah.
Now, they're from Manchester?
Oasis.
I believe they're from Manchester. And that's really, you're from Leeds?
Yeah. So my family are from Durham, which is it's about 40 minutes from Newcastle. Okay. So I'm a Newcastle United fan. Bit black and white.
I love
and then my mum and dad moved down to Leeds just for my dad's work. So I went to school in Leeds. And then just before coming to the States, I lived in Manchester. So yeah, kind of moving a little bit further south each time, but never got to London, never lived in London full time. And then, ended up in lovely Columbus, Ohio.
I mean, and to the benefit of all of us, you and Chloe have 100% improved the atmosphere, not only at SOS, but I would say Columbus in general. You're amazing people, beautiful inside and out. Yeah,
we love the city, to be fair. I mean, Chloe's been here, it's about 8 years now. She got a job, Abercrombie & Fitch, straight out of university. So she came out, and then I was backwards and forwards. A couple of months in the UK, coming back out on an Esther, not being able to work, coming to see her for 2 or 3 months at a time, and backwards and forwards. And the city's grown massively since we've in them 8 years since we've been coming. So I got my green card last year, and then officially moved to Columbus kind of earlier this year. Set up full time here now, so yeah, loving it.
Well, I think we would be remiss not to mention how you found SOS, or how SOS found you. Do you remember?
I think, probably it was very early on when Chloe came out, so 5-6 years ago. And obviously I've always been into fitness, always loved training, but never really got into group fitness. Group fitness for me was aerobics for women. And then kind of the group stuff, the football. I say football. I can't say soccer. I'm not allowed. I have to say football. Okay. When I say football, I'm talking the proper football, not that thing that interrupted the Rihanna concert the other day. But group fitness was just kind of their sports training. And then Chloe's like, come to System of Strength with me. So I did, and just got hooked straight away. Loved it. Loved everything about it. The intensity, the classes, the way that it was structured. And then every time I came into Columbus, I tried to jump in at least 1 or 2 times into the classes. And you guys were great right from the off.
I have to give props to Megan Janowitz, because Megan, who worked for us, she dialed right into you. She's like, okay, I'm no dummy. This guy needs to be wearing some SOS gear. And I remember Tom Walker walking into our lives it was several years ago.
Yeah.
Never.
So been in and out of the studio, like I say, for about 5-6 years. And then obviously once I got the green card, it was perfect opportunity to go, look, I can train, I can jump in, lead some classes if you like. And that that got me hooked as well. You know, she did a really good job with that, giving me a little swag bag and giving me a few little bits, you know, stickers on my water bottle and a few different caps and things like that. And yeah, just grew to love the brand.
Yeah. And I just love your perspective. I mean, you grew up in a different country altogether.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you, just out of my own curiosity with the parliament and the royal family and all of that. So did
the craziness that's going on.
Did you ever see the Queen? Like, was that something that you would see her ever? Or was your family how does that work? I know some people are like, okay, the monarchy is.
Yeah, I think there's a big split. I think you're either a royalist or you're not. So a lot of people, I think it's probably about 50-50 to be fair, as far as I'm aware. People that love the royal family and are really into it and support it, and then people that really like kind of question it and like, what is it there for? Is it outdated? You know, we're a modern society. Is it necessary? So I'm kind of in the middle. I like the history to a degree. I know we get taught a kind of warped reality of the British monarchy and the empire and stuff, and you know, it's something that I think it's nice to have to a point, but I don't know what purpose it serves.
Right.
My dad, on the other hand, you know, he likes them. You know, they bring in a lot of tourism, and without the monarchy and without the royal family in the UK, like what would we have and what would we be? What would bring our tourism in? Because it's certainly not the weather and the beaches.
Well, that's a different. I mean, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so it's not something I dive into. It's not something that I really paid too much attention to. I watched the Meghan and Harry documentary. I thought it was really interesting. And I kind of side with them, to be honest. You know, I can't relate to that degree, but I can see the kind of the social pressure, the media pressure, the stories that are written, the stuff that's just completely made up, the pressure within that kind of institution. And it must have been super hard for Meghan to step into. And then Harry to go through it again from what he went through with his mum. Obviously he was young, but he could see it happening again. And you don't know, there's loads of conspiracies that go on, and I am a bit of a conspiracy theorist. I do go down them rabbit holes now and again, but I think fair play to them. I try not to judge people too much. God knows he's done it for him and his family, and fair play to them. I don't know what, I think they probably thrown them under the bus a little bit more than they needed to, but they're just trying to be honest. And I hope they are being honest. I hope it's not kind of a spin and dramatized for effect. Because it's polarized the country, and it's a big talking point.
Speaking of getting thrown under the bus, you had your own share of controversy in the last several years, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so you were a contestant, is that what we call it, on Love Island? What do we call it?
I guess,
you were chosen to be on Love Island UK.
Yeah, I was one of the chosen few.
Yeah, and so, I'm going to let you we'll roll with this organically. People have a lot of questions, so we also want to bring that in. But I think, do you want to start with kind of the crux of it where the argument ensued with Mara? Because I think that's, okay, so you're on Love Island.
Go there. I mean, we could go right back and how I got onto it, or we can start with
let's start with that. Let's start with how you got onto it to frame that up, and then we'll go into
there's a lot of misconceptions about like how and why I went on the show. Because I think there was kind of it was a grey area. Chloe and I have been together since I was 21. We kind of officially got together when I was 21. Like I say, 32 now. So it's been a while. She moved straight out to the States, straight out of university. We made it work. I was traveling. I went to South Africa and modeling and here, there and everywhere. She came over to the States and was backwards and forwards herself. And we tried our best to keep the relationship going. We've always had an amazing relationship. Tried not to hold each other back and support each other as best we possibly could. But it was just the time difference, the actual time difference. The 5 hours was a pain in the ass because she was finishing work and I was already asleep. And then on the flip side, I was at work if she was trying to ring me on a morning. We were just living separate lives, and we decided to break up. And then out of nowhere, my agent gives me a call. I was actually on set. There's a funny picture. I'll try and find it so you can drop it in. But I'm stood in I think it was a 70s or an 80s outfit. I was doing a campaign for a shopping centre in Manchester called the Arndale. Anyone that's familiar with Manchester will know the Arndale. So I did it was like a 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s and now transition through. So I was in this crazy outfit, stood on the phone to my agent, and someone took a picture of it. And that was the call where she just rung and said, look, I don't know where you're at with your relationship, but we've had Love Island's been in contact. They've seen you on a campaign or a billboard or something that I'd done, and, you know, found out who you are and how to get in contact with you. And they want you to go down and interview for the show. At the time I was kind of like, nah, I'm not interested in it. You know, I've just come out of a long-term relationship. I'm not ready I don't want to go on reality TV. I've never really watched it. It wasn't something that I spent my time watching. I know now, you know, I can understand why people get addicted to it, because it's on every night. And if you watch one episode, you're hooked and you're into it. But it was not something that I'd ever paid much attention to. So I just saw it as another modeling job. I'd said no to it a couple of times. Said no to them a couple of times this time through in 2019. And my agent said, look, are you happy modeling? Where do you see your modeling career going? Do you want to change it up? You can get into acting and presenting, and it's an opportunity. So that kind of like planted a seed in my head, and I thought, I saw it as a job. I've been to a million castings, done all sorts of different modeling work and TV work and stuff. And to me, it seemed like a job and an opportunity. So I went down, had the meeting, like a casting kind of thing, just a call up, just found out about me and what I was about, and, you know, if I could bring something to the show. And I think because I was so blasé in that meeting, I wasn't desperate to get on the show. They kind of like that, because they get, I think it's about 350, 400,000 applicants every year for the shows. And that might be a little bit of a shock to people, that they do approach people direct. I know the Tommy Furys of the world and Danny Dyer and people like that they elevate the show a little bit, but they do recruit, they do a good scouting network, purely because these people that want to get on the show, it's a different type of personality. People are buying into the kind of, it's an easy quick fix, it's easy money, people want to be famous. Whereas for me, that one of the questions that they ask you, the psychologists and stuff ask you, is if you go on the show and it doesn't work out, what are you going to do? What are you going to go back to? It's difficult to step back into like a bar job or an office job, or go back to being a nurse if you've been in the public light. I think it's quite hard mental change to go up here to drop back down to earth if it doesn't work out. And my answer was, just go back to modeling. I'm not too fussed. I'm not chasing the fame in that sense. It was more like I say, it was just an opportunity for me to just better my career, open a few more doors, and just see what happened.
Does anybody go into this for love? Are you? I mean, because my Bachelor, I watched The Bachelor, and I'm hanging on to the fact that some of these people actually want to find love. Like, were any of those people in your mind looking for love, or was it an opportunity?
Me personally, I don't think anyone goes on there for love. I mean, there's different ways to go and get love. I mean, you could find it there. You go speed dating, or you do, I mean, I don't know. I've been lucky in the sense that I've never been on dating sites and things like that. But I think it would be a real last chance. I don't know why you'd think that you were going to find someone on a crazy show like that. I think everyone goes on there with the idea that you might find somebody you really connect with, but whether that's kind of like deep rooted long-term love that you're going to come out of and spend the rest of your life together, I'm not sure people truly buy into that. There has been a few, Tommy and Molly that were on my series. They're the perfect example that it does work. They've got a little baby.
That's great.
It
does happen, right?
Yeah, it does. And there is a few. I can't think that I think there's 2 or 3 couples out of like 6 or 7 series that have actually gone on there, stuck it out, and have got kids and still together. But I think the majority of people go on there with the idea of, you're going to become a social media star. You might get a radio show. You might, it opens doors. There's some of the people that have been on there have done really, really well. But the majority go on and, like me, flash in the pan, you're in there 2 weeks and out there, and then it's what you do on the backside. So you and
Mara got paired up, right? And she's a wildfire, right? I mean, she's a live wire.
Yeah. So the way that it happened for me was I kind of being a little bit full of myself. I was like, look, I want to be part of the first 6. If I'm not at the initial lineup, I'm not really interested. And they obviously do a deep dive. They know what you like, you type, I was athletic brunettes. So they know the initial 6, they kind of work it out of the 6 guys, who's potentially going to pair up with the 6 girls. And then they have obviously a lot of backup options. So that I wasn't in the initial lineup, which I was a little bit disappointed about, because I think I just had in my head, I never really watched it. I thought they're the ones that do best. You know, they're the ones that everyone buys into, everyone loves. There's a big fanfare around them. But they said, look, you're going to be the first guy in. And then that didn't happen. I was like third, I think second or third. Me and Jordan went in at the same time. But it was, it's they're very clever. The puppeteers, the production team, the psychologists, they know what they're doing. So I was sat at home, and as soon as Maura and Elma walked in, I was like, I'm getting the call now, because purely they were short, athletic brunettes, and they kind of ticked my boxes, using Love Island phrases. They ticked my boxes. So I was expecting that call. So I'd seen a little bit of Maura and Elma on the TV before flying out to Mallorca. And I was just waiting for the call. So when I went in, we clicked. We did all right initially. I liked her. She was cool. But she was very in your face, very loud, not usually my type. But just the way that it worked out, we clicked, we coupled up, and then everyone else knows what happens off the back of. So so to be fair to her, you know, it was there was a lot of build up to that. Yeah. There was a few conversations in between. So as it played out on TV, so the whole Hideaway thing is, it's difficult to kind of explain. The Hideaway's there, we're all sleeping in the same room, and then the Hideaway's like given out as an opportunity to spend a night private room. You know, you're going to be just you two, which is kind of what everybody wants.
It's like the fantasy suite.
Yeah, that's it. The Hideaway, the fantasy suite. And the way that it played out on the season that I was on, I don't think anyone had been in at that point. I think Tommy had met Molly in the jacuzzi in there, but they hadn't spent the night in there. So the Hideaway hadn't really been seen. And it had been offered, not like offered, but the producers had asked another 2 couples if they want to go in the Hideaway, and they both said no, a couple of episodes before the one that we did. So we won a challenge, and that was our prize to go in the Hideaway together. So we'd done some just silly challenge, some food challenge that was disgusting. We're passing food between each other's mouths and stuff. It was
fantastic.
And we won that. Fair play to Maura. She dug in, and I did too. We won the competition, and that was our prize. So they split the guys and the girls up. It came over the kind of intercom, I can't remember what they call it. That was the prize, and Tom and Maura would be going in the Hideaway. So we have to go in. It's again, what do they call it? I was going to say that basically when he speaks to the camera.
A confessional.
Yeah. You sat in front, and they do all the health and safety and make sure, you know, you're not pressured into this. Are you comfortable going in? Blah blah blah. You don't have to this, that, and the other. So I went in one room. She went in another. I went back to the boys, and I think it was Curtis that came down with a pack of condoms and like passed them to me. And I was like, mate, like threw them up in the air. I was like, I don't want any of that. Don't need that. You know, said to my said to my parents, there'll be no sex on TV. If we go in, you know, it'll just be, is what it is. It'll be a bit of fun, and we'll go to sleep. And I'm not even sure if that was on the TV. So I remember throwing this condom up in the air, going into the room, having the conversation with the producers, coming back out, and the way it planned out, she'd been told, because she was wearing a bunny outfit for the challenge that we'd done. So she was in this bunny outfit. She was going to meet me in the Hideaway in the bunny outfit. So that's what she was coming down to tell me. So I didn't realize this. We're sat by the pool. She came down to basically say, I'll see you in there.
She was going to wear a bunny outfit?
Yeah, she was some Ann Summers type bunny outfit. So that was her plan. Okay. To meet me in there in this bunny outfit.
Hold on, let's just park for a second for the bunny outfit. Okay, I don't know if anybody else is. So wait, is this was this to like sexually arouse you, bunny outfit, or?
It was part of the challenge.
Or was it supposed to be funny?
Yeah, bunny? I don't know. I never saw it. We never got there. So
okay. I'm thinking like, you know, Ralphie on A Christmas Story bunny, or like a Playboy bunny.
Like a Playboy bunny.
Like a Playboy.
Yeah,
okay.
So,
I got it.
Yeah. So that's how she.
Whatever turned you on, Tom.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not sure. She came down and basically said I was going to meet you in there. And as I was walking back out of the production room, the little secret room on the side of the set, I came back out and I heard one of the boys say, I wonder if she's all mouth or not. And I was like, I wonder if she's all mouth or not. Bearing in mind the whole build up, she was very outspoken. She gave out a lot of banter. She was not crude, but like kind of sexual. She was giving it out, and I thought she was going to take it. I honestly thought it was just going to be a bit of crack. I thought it was going to be a bit of banter. So one of the lads said, I wonder if she's all mouth or not. I heard him say, and I was like, it'll be interesting to see if she's all mouth or not. Not thinking anything of it, just a little bit of crack. And then when I realized she was behind me and she'd heard, because they all laughed, and quickly in my head, I'm like, cogs are ticking, like, shit, how do I get out of this? What do I say? And again, I thought it was just going to be a bit of banter. I thought, I can't lie because, you know, she might have heard it. I'm not going to lie anyway. And even if I do lie, someone would have told her what I'd actually said.
Well, Tom, it was on TV.
And it was, like everybody, I was never going to, the cameras are all over. I was never going to get away with it. So I just thought, say it with your chest on up to it. I was just like, I just was joking, see if you're all mouth or not. Thinking that she would kind of go, well, you fucking find out. Or just give me something back. But she just did not take it well at all. And they really threw me because, like I say, from her personality and knowing if I'd been in there with her kind of 4 or 5 days, 24/7, she was quite outspoken. She was full of banter. She's Irish. She's got good crack, and she was giving it out. And that was the kind of thing that I think saved me a little bit. That people had seen that side of her. When I came out, I found out that people were on the fence. There was a lot of people that supported me just kind of giving a little comment. And then there was a lot of people that thought I was this horrendous kind of sexist pig. Yeah. And it was never, like I said, it was never meant to be taken like that. It was just a flippant comment that I'd overheard one of the boys say, but obviously the way that it's all produced and put together, it just showed me saying, I wonder if she's all mouth or not. And then, you know what happens after the back of that.
It's context. If you don't have that context.
Yeah. And that's reality TV. That's the way it happens. There's 50 minutes shown every night of the week, but there's 24 hours in the day, and we're mic'd up and filmed the whole time. So there's a lot of stuff that you don't see. They play the narratives, they chop stuff out and put stuff in and keep specific things out purposely because it's drama, it's TV, and that's what it's for.
But you're a human being, and as much as you think you're prepared for something like that, I can only imagine. Talk through that part where you go, you get this call, you're going to take the job, you're there, it seems pretty straightforward. And then all of a sudden you're in this crossfire where you're seeing Tom's this and Tom's whatever they're calling you. Like, how did that impact you?
Well, obviously when you're on the show, you don't know. Yeah. We have no phones. We don't even have the concept of time. So there's one little clock that is on the cooker on the oven. And they change that all the time. They change it just to mess with you. So they tell you when to wake up and when to go to sleep. We're on a schedule. We don't know what time of day it is, apart from trying to guess from the sun, basically. So in terms of what people are saying on the outside world, we have absolutely no idea. So it's only kind of in my head, like thinking, that's gone bad. That doesn't look good on me. How do I rectify this? How do I get around it? But my personality, I'm not really into like drama. I'm trying to avoid it as much as possible. I'm quite opinionated and I don't mind having a debate and a bit of an argument, but I'm not into just nonsense, gossip and drama. So the show probably wasn't the best idea for me. So yeah, like when you get a little moment to yourself, there is that worry of like, how am I coming across? What's gone on TV? And I remember sitting in the villa and sitting around with the boys and saying like, I hope this goes in. I hope they put this on because this was funny and that's a joke. And sometimes the best episodes were like the filler episodes on a Sunday where they were just showing the silly shit that we were doing in between the challenges or in between the deep conversations or the drama that was going on. Because there was a lot of good banter. We're in there a long time together, living on top of each other. And it is quite fun, but you never actually know what's been shown. You never know what's gone on. Obviously, I knew that was going on TV because it was TV gold for them.
This would be crippling for me. And for most people to be there I think it'd be worse to be in this purgatory of like, okay, how am I coming off? There's like 10 doors we could be going down here from an editing perspective. That part would be probably even worse than coming out back into society and seeing all these negative things.
Yeah. Yeah.
The waiting is the hardest part of anything.
It is. It's super weird because, like I said, you don't know what narrative the producers and the production team are running with. Mm-hmm. You don't know. It's weird. You start to pick up on it the more you're in there. And obviously, like me coming from like a modeling and TV background, my dad's a television director, so I know the ins and outs of most of the stuff that goes on. And that's what actually the producers said to me before going in. This could be your biggest problem. You're going to worry about the narrative too much. You're going to overthink the process. You're going to be questioning our decisions and things like that. And it kind of was playing into my head because I was thinking, you know, if they chop that little bit out and they drop this in, then it's a completely different narrative. It's not really how it was played out. They say they're not going to do that. They play it as normal, but they've only got 50 minutes to, they have to make sure it's entertaining TV.
No one can plan how it's all going to shake out 100%. No, so let's talk Chloe. Let's add in the Chloe factor. So if this were me and you and I had broken up, and you had gone on Love Island, they would have found your body somewhere. My jealous streak, I have a jealous streak. I admit it. I would have lost my ever-loving mind. Not afraid to say it. Chloe seems like the opposite of a human being as me. She's a glorious human being.
You're a glorious human being too.
I mean, but I have my redeeming qualities, but I will say that like, I don't see her bearing a body and having a friend help hide the body. So what was the Chloe factor? How upset was she? How did she handle that specific moment? And then overarching, how did she handle you going on the show?
Well, this is a little bit of a segue away from the show because Chloe and I broke up towards the back end of like 2018, 2019, purely because she was never going to come back to the UK. She loves her job. She loves, what she's doing. She's a women's wear designer. It's what she went to university for, and that's what she's doing. And fair play to her. I got signed to a modeling agency in, I think it was 2017 in Miami. So I was with Next, and I thought that was going to be like my stepping stone to come into the States. I got denied my working visa, so I wasn't allowed to do that. So it was such a high to then find out that I couldn't come out to the States and work. We weren't married. We'd been together a while, but we weren't living together. So it felt a little bit forced to be, not forcing the marriage in a sense, but we wanted to live together before we started to make big moves like that. And we weren't given the opportunity to live together. So that's where our relationship started to not break down again, because personally, one-on-one, when we spent time together, it was amazing, but just we were living two separate lives. So we kind of called it off, although we were still in each other's lives. We'd gone our separate ways to a degree, hence why I was able to go on the show. But at that time of 2019, Chloe's mum had just been diagnosed with cancer. So she passed away really sadly in like 8 weeks. So me going on the show wasn't the worst thing to happen to Chloe at that time. And for both of us now, like looking back, it's all a bit of a blur. It was horrendous because I wasn't allowed to tell anyone I was going on the show, but I'd told a few of like my close friends. Chloe was living out in the States. I was actually on the train back up from London after doing my drug test and my blood work and all the stuff to go on the show. Because they have to test that you're not taking steroids, you're not addicted to cocaine, all that stuff, because you could be away for 6 weeks. So they do the checks on you. So I was coming back up on the train and I got a phone call off Chloe and I thought, oh shit, someone's told her, she's found out that I've signed up for the show. And it wasn't that call. It was, I'm coming back to England, just found out my mum's, been diagnosed with cancer. I was like, it was horrendous. Like Eve was an amazing woman. Like she was like, say like a second, third mother to me. Now I've got my mum, I've got my stepmom, and Eve was like, she was unbelievable.
I think I'm not crying, you're crying. Kind of thing.
Yeah. So she was an amazing woman, and it hit me quite hard. Just all of that coming at that time, and me thinking I was going to be having to explain myself about the show, and it wasn't. It was like, shit, I'm be seeing you in a couple of days. So I didn't tell her that that's what I was doing until she got back. We spent a little bit of time together. And I said, look, I've got something to tell you. And she said, who have you slept with? Which one of our mates have you slept with? And I was like, nah, it's nothing like that. It's much worse. I'm actually going on Love Island. I'm just waiting for the call. I'm going on it. And yeah, it was rough, but I'd committed to it. And
but did she yell?
Yeah, she was fuming.
Did she like throw anything?
Not that I can remember. No, it wasn't. There wasn't. Again, it wasn't the worst thing in her life to be happening.
Correct. I mean, if anything, to put you in perspective would be that. But I think it still probably was kind of gutting. Just all of it. And
I think that was kind of the line that was, that was me and her done. I was going on a show and I was going on to different things, and we were definitely going to be living separate lives at that point. And I'm disappointed in myself, to be fair, because I was really close to Eve. I was really close. She's got 2 younger brothers on her mum's side, and I was still in contact with them. It wasn't like we just completely cut all ties. I was still speaking to her mum's side of the family, her dad's side of the family, and I was still involved with them all. But on the flip side, there was this opportunity that came up that I saw like pound signs, thinking exactly like why people apply to go on the show. I saw it as an opportunity, and I was kind of committed. And I've always struggled with not necessarily sticking to my word, but saying stuff and not following them through, or getting halfway through a project or 8% way through a project and not following it through. And I felt like I was kind of committed and I wanted to follow it through. And then this was thrown at me. But it was a real weird time. It was a real strange time. So although it was tough for me, going on the show, knowing that Eve was ill back home, leaving Chloe and the family at the hospice and all that kind of stuff. I'd spent the whole run up to the show. I was in the hospice, like end of life care for a mum, and it was horrendous. But I don't know where my head was at, to be honest. I'd kind of compartmentalized it, and I'm doing this. When that phone call comes in, I'm going to go do it, and that's my job. But in hindsight, I feel really bad for like abandoning Chloe, feeling tough, abandoning her brothers and not being there to support them like I should have been. Instead, I was living the high life, or pretending to live the high life, and going on a reality TV show. And that's where I feel bad on like the production team and the producers and stuff. And as well, like I didn't do myself justice. I'd gone on there and I wasn't myself because I knew everything that was going on back home. I kind of said my goodbyes to Eve, went on the show and expected her to have passed by the time I came out. She hadn't. So I get one phone call. So I got one phone call when we left the villa, Arabella and I. So to kind of reintegrate you back into society, they don't give you your phone straight away. You can't just jump on and make calls. So there's like a bit of a 48-hour kind of debriefing process. So I got they actually give me 2 because they allowed me to. They knew I was upset. I rung my mum and I rung my dad, and I asked my mum straight away. I said, when did Eve die? And she said, she's not, she's still alive. I was like, I couldn't believe it, to be fair. I got really, really lucky that I was able to come out and then get to the funeral just for my own kind of, well-being, that I was able to support Chloe and the family as best as I possibly could, as much as they wanted to see me or not see me. They were good in that sense. Kind of disassociated myself from the show and tried to be there as much as I could. So yeah, it was all just a bit of a whirlwind. It was all an absolute blur. So Chloe's take on the show, I shouldn't have done it, but at the same time, there's a lot of good things that have come off the back of it. In terms, just not in terms of financially, but more mental health, being more aware, going to counselling, and just getting myself back on the straight and narrow. And finding out about myself, like why I do certain things. And I would never have gone to therapy. I'd never have gone to sit down with a therapist without the show, because it was part of the protection and the thing that they do to look after you. They offer you counselling off the back end. And I think out of the contestants that I went on, the guys that I spoke to, probably 2 or 3 people took that up, which I thought was crazy. Someone offered free therapy, take it. So I did, and it was super, super beneficial. Got me back grounded in the real world. And it was a time of our lives that, like I say, is just a bit of a blur. There was highs and there's some super lows. So thinking back to 2019, it's just, it's a bit weird, a bit mental.
I can imagine. We'll get back to the mental health stuff.
Yeah.
But so how did you and Chloe find your way back together? Because your heart was always with Chloe.
Yeah, 100%. So it was more to do, it was through the grief process, really. It was through that grieving process because I was so ingrained in her mum and her family's life. Like I said, she was like a third mother to me. I've got my mum and my stepmom Ali, and then Eve took me under her wing, and she was amazing. So it was me knowing Eve on a good, deep level, the good points and the bad points and everything in between. And just trying to support Chloe through it, and then going through counselling and sitting with my counsellor, therapist in the UK, and just trying to work out where I went, like going forward, like what I needed to do. And he said to me, you know what you need to do? And I said, yeah, I do. I need to try and win Chloe back. Like officially, we'd separated off the back of the show. I was seeing someone else, great girl, but my heart, like you say, my heart was never in it. I was always thinking about Chloe and how I'd let her down and all that kind of stuff, and work through it. And I rang her up just out of the blue and just said, look, I need to talk to you. And she's like, I'm in a meeting. I'm not talking to you. And then I said, no, like I want to make us work. And she's like, what happens if I don't? I said, well, I want to put all my cards on the table. I want to be with you. I want to do everything I possibly can to make it work. And if you decide that that's not for you, and there's too much damage being done, too many bridges being burnt, like we can't rebuild. We're done. That's something that I've got to swallow. It was my decision. It was my choice. And I just want to put it out there now that I want you back. I want to do everything I possibly can to get you back. She took a few days to kind of process it, and then basically give me a big list of shit that I needed to sort out. And the only way that I could
How long was that list,
Oh,
Tom?
God. Like, fairly big.
Like the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yeah. So just little personality traits, little things that was frustrating, things that I needed to get on top of. And yeah, just we tried to make it a go again. And me going to counselling, her going to kind of grief counselling. We did a little bit of couples counselling together to iron everything out. And it's been super, super beneficial, and like the happiest I've been in a long, long time. It feels right, being together. We had a COVID wedding, and that was, it was a little bit strange. It wasn't super romantic in the sense of how we did it. It was more to do with me getting to the States and getting green cards and stuff. So we don't want to take away from the fact that we're deeply in love, and I feel like she's my person, and I'm sure I hope she feels the same about me.
Let's hope. Chloe?
I'll ask her when I get back.
Speak now.
Yeah.
Forever hold your peace, Chloe.
So yeah, it feels right. And I think once we'd ironed everything out and we're in the position that we're in now, married, got green cards, living in the States, trying to build that American dream. It feels I can't believe that it took that long road round to get to where we are now, but we're here. We're having an expensive party / wedding next year. This year. Keeps saying next year. Yeah. This year, later in September. So yeah, we're all good. It was just purely through really good communication and just being truly honest with each other. A lot of self-reflection, realizing where my downfalls were. Where her downfalls were, how we were compatible. But the bottom line was, like, we love each other and we love each other's company. She's my best friend. She says to me, I'm hers. So I appreciate that. And that's all we could ever ask for. And I knew I would never find anyone else like that. And if I'd have fucked it up enough and let it slip away, that was on me, wasn't on her. So, after the show and putting all that aside, we've moved forward and we're stronger than ever.
I love it. I love Chloe. Now I wonder,
she's a little darling.
Did Chloe date anyone?
Yeah, she did.
How'd that feel?
Strange. But I didn't have a leg to stand on, I'd been on a reality TV show. And yeah, we both made a decision to move on.
Yeah.
At that point. And then it was a whirlwind and a bit of a craziness to get back together. But we yeah, we both went our separate ways, and I think she felt the same as I did. You know, this girl I was seeing back in the UK, she was great. She was a really, really cool girl, but I knew I was always going to be in love with Chloe. And I think she felt the same. I think she struggled with the fact that whoever it wasn't me. They didn't know her like family history. They didn't know her mum. I think that was a big thing for her as well, that although she was dating someone quite seriously, they had no relationship or have ever met her mum, and she was struggling through that grief and talking about her mum and wanting to talk about her mum. And the only person she could really do that with was me. So yeah, it was the kind of catalyst that brought us back together, that grief. And yeah, I wish it had panned out differently. I wish, Eve had never got sick and never sadly passed, but every cloud.
I agree.
So
sometimes it is those long, hard roads that lead you to something that you just don't expect. Perspective, life experience. So you going into therapy, and you continue to be in therapy.
Yeah.
And so what do you think you've learned the most about, what's the most surprising thing you've learned about yourself in therapy?
It's more to do with like, the surprising thing is how like your childhood and things subconsciously drip into your personality day to day. One of the biggest things for me was the kind of level of procrastination and the living in the moment that I thought was like cool, free and easy. I've always had a problem. This was one of the things on the list for Chloe and I when she's like, you need to address this. It's forward planning and forward thinking has never been something that I've ever been good at. I'm not good with saving money. I'm not good with planning ahead. It's all kind of like next week, tomorrow, or do it tomorrow. And that's kind of, my therapist was saying it seems to have been subconsciously dripped into your personality, because through the modeling industry, it's so sporadic. 1 month you work loads, or 1 week you're fully booked, and then the next week you don't do anything. So for me, since the age of 16, 17, 18, when I first started modeling, all I've wanted to do was be free and available. If that job comes in tomorrow or next week, I can do it. And that has then kind of formed my adult personality into the sense that I don't want to miss out. It's that fear of missing out. If a big job comes in and it's, 5, 10, 15 grand, like I need to be able to be available for the casting and for the job. My agent comes to me and says, you're working tomorrow, or you're working on Friday, you've got to be in London, here's your flight details and this, that and the other. So for me, like I didn't even realize that, but that was kind of playing into me not wanting to commit to anything. It was that fear of commitment, because I needed to be available and didn't know what was around the corner. So highlighting that was interesting. I need to take a lot more control of my day-to-day life, my, stop being so available and do what you want to do, make people work around you rather than you working or being fully available all the time for everyone else. So that was something that was quite pivotal. That's made me, change my ways a little bit. A lot, to be fair. And just like the mental health aspect of just being in tune, like, why am I feeling like this? Why have I reacted like that? Taking a second to not be, not such a short fuse, I guess. Just self-analytics, just analyzing why I'm feeling sad and what makes me happy, and like, am I fit and healthy? And just mentally having that having that opportunity to sit down with someone without any distractions was really good for me too, because I think, especially as a guy, we rarely open up everything. Yeah. And I don't know if it's the same with the American culture. Obviously, I'm British, but it's all about banter. It's all banter. Mm-hmm. It's all like, we're talking in the pub about the footy, we're having a few beers. There's nothing ever, any opportunity to be serious and deep. So to sit opposite someone for 45 minutes a week and just shoot the shit, just talk and talk and talk and get it out. And I truly believe, and I'm certainly this way, but I think the majority of people are like, I realize as I vocalize, and I'm coining that as well.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, because whether it's talking to a friend or talking to a therapist, it doesn't really matter. Like, just actually vocalizing things, going through your thoughts in your head, and then the penny just drops, something just clicks, and I go, that's why I've been feeling like that, or that makes sense that I've been going down that route. I need to address that, because everybody's the same. Distraction techniques, mobile phones, games consoles, Netflix. No one actually sits with the thoughts very often. And that was so beneficial, me just having no distractions, 45 minutes just to chat about anything. And someone asked thought-provoking questions. So I'd advise anybody to do it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. So pivoting a little bit.
Yep.
Is modeling a means to an end? Like, what is if you could have your ideal world, would you be acting? Would you be a big time model? Like, what is the end? Not that you have to know the exact, but what's your passion? Yeah,
I think, being a model is something that I've always done. Like I said earlier, my dad's a television director. So I've grown up in and around TV, being on TV sets since I was little. And I never really thought about being behind the camera and going into what he does. But I like the acting side, and he obviously had contacts in the modeling industries and stuff. And it was just something I kind of fell into and then just loved doing it, being the center of attention.
Right.
Being on set, the variety, I could never see myself being sitting in an office and doing a 9 to 5. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That was just not my personality, going in and being on the telephone or working in a supermarket. I really wanted to be out there. I like the variety, the travel, everything that came with the modeling career. But it is frustrating because a lot of the time you're being judged all the time. There's not a lot you can do. You walk into a room and it's like yes or no straight. As soon as you walk in, you waste a lot of time going to castings that it's not even worth you being there because they've already made their mind up. They're just, seeing everyone because everyone's available. But so for me, I think I'd love to do a fragrance ad. I'd love to to be on a Dolce & Gabbana advert or something like that.
I can see it for you.
That's where I've always seen myself, not seeing myself, but wanted to be a fragrance ad or something like that. I do enjoy the fitness, the underwear modeling, the swimsuit modeling, that kind of stuff. But I think the smart suits and the fragrances is what I want to be doing. When do you have a memory?
I laugh because you're so good looking that it's almost like weird. You're like, how is this person so empirically attractive? Was there a time where you looked in the mirror and you're like, I'm really good looking? I mean, I know that sounds like I want, or did you? Were people always just telling you that, or who said to you oh, you should? When was that moment where you're like, I'm not the average Joe?
I mean, I wasn't a particularly good looking adolescent kid. There was definitely an awkward phase. But yeah, I think towards kind of the middle to the end of high school, kind of like 13, 14, 15, and I was kind of getting attention from girls. I appreciated that I wasn't bad looking. I've always been athletic, sporting, fit and healthy. So I used to swim when I was younger. So I remember standing in the mirror kind of like 10 or 12 thinking like, what are these? I've got boobs. Like, what are these? Like, where are these coming from? But shoulders and swimming and getting to 14, 15 and starting doing press ups and sit ups and training. I don't think there was like a moment when I thought I'm good looking, but I think people tell you, people say you should go into modeling. And when I started modeling and, it was going well, I appreciated the fact that I might be slightly better looking than your average person. And it's never really been something that, I try not to use it to my advantage, but I appreciate there is a bit of privilege that comes with being good looking.
I'd be using that to my advantage all day long.
It's
whatever's in your win corner, whatever's in your win column, Tom, we got to work with that.
So I think I won best looking at school, and that was like, cool, nice one. Won that at prom. So as I was prepping for this podcast and I was doing some of that social media stuff, like I have gone on your Instagram multiple times before, but never in this much depth. I mean, I was looking because I was trying to find the right photos. And I never realized how much you fancy, is that what you fancy, like you look like, in Tom Cruise when he was young? Yeah, I used to get that when I used to work in bars. People used to say, I was Tom Cruise in Cocktail. And the way that you can morph in these photos, like you are truly a model. Thanks.
It's insane.
Yeah. It's not all me, it's the photographers.
No, but I understand that, but like they're not doing that with me. I can tell you that right now. Like it's incredible. And I'll be honest, I don't understand. I mean, you were discovered on some level with this, Love Island, but I don't know how you're even sitting here with me. I feel like I should be seeing
very
you
kind.
like, and I'm being serious. I'm not that kind. I'm pretty damn honest. So I think that we have to somehow like start this campaign too. Get you like on, where are these Dolce and Gabbana and all these, where are you guys? You're sleeping on Tom Walker, man.
I want to be the next David Gandy. That's what I want to be.
That's amazing. Yeah. I think you're going to get there.
Yeah, it's a weird industry because there's not a lot you can do with it. You've got to be in favor. The client, trends change,
right?
And especially at the moment, that everybody's going down the kind of the diverse route, making sure that all inclusive.
Yeah.
So the kind of typical classic looking 6 foot white boy is not really in favor at the minute, and there's nothing I can do about that. And not to say that that's wrong, because we've had that, we've had plenty of time to be number one. But so like when I was younger, I was kind of 24, 25. I looked 20, especially if I shave my beard. So it's like fitting in people's brackets, and you get pigeonholed into stuff. So I was always told, my agents and my peers in the industry was like, once you hit 30, 35, 40, that's when you'll shine, because that's when the big kind of car brands, the Jaguar, the Land Rover, all them kind of people, Porsche, hopefully, they come look in, and the big fragrance brands, because there's got to be an element of aspiration to it. So they don't want to be putting a 25-year-old kid in a Porsche, because it doesn't line up. So the people with the money, the people that they're kind of advertising to, are 35, are 40, 45, like handsome looking silver foxes. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that I haven't peaked yet, and there could be some big stuff around the corner. So you never know. Like say 32 now. So
when you were a teenager and you're this really good looking guy and you're getting tons of attention, were you cocky? Were you like, hey, I'm pretty, like, did somebody have to hold
Rein
your
me in.
balloon?
Yeah.
Like, so what did that look like?
A little bit. I think at 17, 18, 19, you're kind of finding yourself, like in England, we can drink at 18. So we're going out and starting partying. I think that process is held off a little bit longer for the States, because you guys are not meant to be drinking until you're 21. But we're out and drinking and socializing and finding ourselves in the clubs and stuff. So yeah, I think I definitely went through a phase where I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder. And I remember a conversation with my dad that we were out for Sunday lunch, and he just said, I don't know who you think you are, but you're turning into a bit of a dick, and you need to get your head out your ass. And he probably won't even remember saying it. It was something to do with an ex-girlfriend at the time. But yeah, I think I'd cheated on my girlfriend at the time, and it had all kind of come crashing down around me. And yeah, my dad had just said to me, look, I don't know who you think you are, but you're not as established, or you shouldn't be as cocky as you are. You've achieved nothing. You've done nothing. Get your head out your ass and start being nicer to people. And yeah, that sat with me, and I remember thinking, yeah, I won't do that to women again. I won't cheat on my girlfriend, and I did. It was one of them situations where I learned a lot from it. I broke this poor girl's heart, and she was into me more than I was into her, and I should have just been man enough to say, look, when I'm not in this as much as you are, and we need to break up. But at 18, I just slept with someone I shouldn't, and she found out, and then it all came crumbling down. I remember seeing this girl super, super upset, and it made me really upset that I had that kind of power over someone that I didn't like. I was able to crush someone's and upset someone as much as I had done, and see her break down like that, and didn't feel nice. And like I say, the conversation with my dad, he just nailed it.
What's your dad's name?
Paul
Walker. Good job, Paul.
Yeah, Paul Walker, yeah.
I actually love Paul. One of my favorite saying that I have in life is, my name's Paul and that's between y'all. I love you, Paul.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll meet you someday.
So, yeah,
that was
he
good.
put me back on the straight and narrow.
That was good advice, Paul.
Yeah.
Really good parenting advice. Okay, so Tom, another pivot.
Yeah.
Lots of questions. So I got plenty in this bag of tricks. So there's lots of questions about OnlyFans.
OF. Yeah.
OF. OFG. So let's talk through the OnlyFans, because some of the questions were, are you still on OnlyFans? Well, why did you make the decision to be on OnlyFans? To me, it makes sense after you and I spoke about it.
Yeah.
Total sense. Why not monetize it?
Yeah.
You're already, it's already out there for people. So why don't you give us a little rationale behind the OnlyFans?
My side of it. Yeah. So it was off the back of the show. A friend of mine back in Europe, he was on it. He's done a bit of reality TV, got a decent social media following. He's a model and stuff as well. And he was doing it and making a shit ton of money. I don't know to what level, the kind of figures that were coming out, but he said, he would get a little bit of a kickback if he introduced me to the platform. It was something that I was interested in. And back 2019, like no one had really heard of OnlyFans. I had no idea what it was. And it was this platform that was just kind of starting out, that people were making these Instagram girls were making serious money off, and they still are, to be fair. But for me, it was just something that it was just a revenue stream, to be honest. It was a platform that I thought it was very easy to set up. You get subscribers and you post topless pictures, stuff that I was posting on my Instagram, me in my boxers, modeling pictures that, everybody's seen me in my pants. I'm not on there getting my dick out. I'm not doing anything pornographic. It's all kind of implied nudity. And it was actually my stepmom and my auntie I was talking to, that I was just like, didn't really know where to go with it. But I've got a very good relationship with my stepmom, Ali. She's great. And I remember speaking to her and saying, it feels weird. I feel like a porn star, but there's some serious dough to be earned. And I've got all these followers now. I'm sure people will be paying, $20, $25 a month. And it's just a little bit more risque than what I'd be happy putting on my social media. But I had the conversation with Chloe. She was kind of like, at the end of the day, if the newspapers get hold of this again, back in 2019, when it was all a little bit hush and no one really knew what it was, she said, if the newspapers, the Daily Mail, the Sun and all the British tabloids get hold of this, would you be happy with the images, your gran seeing the images or your grandma seeing the images? And I was like, yeah, because like I say, at the end of the day, I'm not sat on there swinging my dick about. It's just, I'm in my pants. There's a little bit more risky, like I say, a little bit more risky than I would put on my social media. And it's been a really good revenue stream. Then obviously the pandemic hit and I wasn't doing any modeling, wasn't doing any social media brands. We're all in lockdown, wasn't working at all. And it just kept me going. It's been brilliant. And I know there is people on there now that it's basically, it's pornographic. It's a porn site. People are on there shagging and doing all sorts.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. But that's not what going to get from me.
Yeah.
Chloe doesn't feature on it. She's not on there. She's taken some of the content for me. She's done it. She's part of it in that sense. She's open to it, but it's sporadic for me. So it's more that I'm just too busy sometimes. Like taking the content and changing it up, and you become a model, you can become a photographer, you become an editor, you become like
nothing's easy.
The whole content creating. So it just takes a lot of time, and then obviously blurring out my penis, making sure that everything is covered up, is going through all that and editing the videos and stuff. It just takes a long time. So it is sporadic. It goes up and down. I'm busy at the minute, so I've not been posting loads, but I really appreciate the followers that I've had on there. I really appreciate the support that people are giving me. And I've not earned like stupid amounts of money that I know some people are, because that's always the thing where people are saying, 40, 50 grand a month, which some people do. I don't do anywhere near that. It's just been a nice little side hustle for me. So
I'd have to imagine that someone's making 40 to 50 grand a month. They're doing a lot more, which is fine. No judgment. Do whatever you want to do. But if you're drawing the line and not letting anybody see your thingy, you go fang. You're going to be limited. I feel like, because if I'm subscribing to OnlyFans, people probably want to see more, and that probably just gets progressively like, hey, you showed me this, let's do this. I can imagine that OnlyFans gets a little
I mean, I get requests all the time, like when you're taking them off, like take the pants off, can the ones, can you send me a picture of your feet, and can you send me this, and all the weirdness that comes out of it.
But the feet, there's nothing wrong with feet.
Like, fine.
Send the feet.
If you're gonna send me $100 for a picture of my feet, like,
listen, if somebody want to see these feet, I'd be all about showing my feet.
So, yeah, I mean, I think for me, people have started to realize possibly that I'm not gonna be going full frontal nudity, but there's enough on there for people to get off on. You know, if they're interested in me and they want to have a direct conversation with me and they want to see a little bit more of me than they see on social media, it's worth jumping on my OnlyFans. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm not a porn star. I never plan to be a porn star. I'm not going to be, you know, like I say, swinging my dick around on camera and shoving things in my ass, because that's just not me. That's not where I want to be going. But people do that. So
well, you know
each their own.
You know, swinging my dick around is going to be my new saying. My saying is usually, let's get our cock out. But now I'm like, wait, there's a new one. Swing your dick around. That's amazing.
Doing the helicopter.
So I want to make sure I don't miss any other questions. I know there was one. They want to know, what do you like the best about Chloe?
What do I like the best about her? Oh, there's all sorts. I mean, first off, she's beautiful. But personality-wise, I just love how we connect, how we have the same sense of humor, how I make her laugh and she makes me laugh, and we just enjoy each other's company. You know, we enjoy the same TV shows, and she keeps me in check, keeps me accountable, and I just love our relationship. There's too many. I just love everything about her. So
I want to marry Chloe, to be honest. Okay, would you ever put yourself in that kind of spotlight again with Love Island?
Yeah. I mean, obviously not a dating show because I'm married.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not shying away from reality TV completely. If it was, I don't know if you've seen it, Physical 100, that's on Netflix at the minute. South Korean kind of fitness challenges. There's anything like that, I'd be up for. Okay. So I get back in the limelight and get back on TV. But it's not going to be
on that horse again, boy.
Yeah, it's not going to be a Love Island-esque Island-esque show.
This is more of a comment. You are unreal.
Oh, thanks.
And I assume that's the way that they wanted me to present that.
Was that off the back of the picture in my pants?
Who knows, Tom? I mean, all of them are kind of unreal. Let's be honest. Okay, do you have a large gay following?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the majority of my following on OnlyFans, to be honest. I've got a lot of gay friends. Obviously, being in the modeling industry and the TV industry, there's a lot of gay people that I'm happy and comfortable being around. I've nothing against the gay following. I'm not into. I don't swing that way, but I don't care who follows me and who's interested in me.
Your dick doesn't swing that way.
No, it certainly doesn't. But I'm open. You know, I'm open to interactions with anyone and everyone. You know,
of course.
I'm not. I don't mind.
Okay.
Don't care.
Now, the MVP for me is Ben Bradley, 12. We're going to say.
Yeah, he's a good mate of mine back home. Shout out to Ben.
Ben, I love you. I love you and Paul. Ben wants to know, do you still have saggy balls?
Yeah.
Are they really saggy?
I mean, you'll have to ask Chloe off camera.
I just want to know there's something about you that's not attractive.
I don't see many other guys' balls, so I wouldn't know. Mine are, large.
Dude, I'm asking Chloe the next time I see her.
I'll have to get Chloe in to verify.
Oh my God. All right, I'm going to play another little ditty here. Do you know the words to this song?
Yeah, I'm not going to be singing them.
You wouldn't sing them? You'll go on OnlyFans?
It's my karaoke song, yeah.
I'm going to sing.
Go for it.
You're not going to sing with me?
I mean, I say no now,
You'll go on Love Island UK?
As soon as it kicks in.
That's going to be amazing.
Is this your favourite?
I love it.
Yeah?
I love this song.
When did you first come across Oasis?
1995 when it came in.
Away. Yeah.
Tom, we're singing. Ready? Where were you while we were getting high? I like it. Slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball. Where were you while we were getting high? Oh yeah, Tom. Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova in the sky. Someday
We'll just do this. We'll just pick songs and sing.
Caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova. A
champagne supernova in the sky.
I mean, somebody's got to give us cred for that. That was not bad. That was not bad.
So
that
a little fun
good.
fact about Oasis too. My mum's cousin, it was my granddad's brother's son, is the guitarist, Gem Archer.
Really?
Yeah, so I think it was after the second album, they got a different guitarist in. So he spoke highly of, I think it was to Noel, and they basically reached out to him, and he was then the guitarist, and he's now with Noel in High Flying Birds. So I've only met him once. It's like I say, it's my mum's cousin, but I never knew him growing up. My granddad's brother died, and then my granddad was quite close to Colin. He's called Colin Archer, but he goes by Gem. And yeah, so he's in Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. We went to see them in Newcastle, and that was the first time I met him. Really, really cool guy, but yeah, just was working as like a guitarist in little bands up in the Northeast. Got on the circuit, and someone recommended him to Noel, and then now he was part of Oasis, and now Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, and yeah, it's a little claim to fame before Love Island.
Yeah.
I would use that little fun fact, but
that's amazing.
Yeah,
I wonder what he would have thought about our rendition. I don't think it was too terrible. I don't think it was too terrible.
I've not met Noel and I've not met Liam yet, but
now here's another song you'd mentioned that's one of your favorites, and of course it's let's see, the Beatles are from London, Liverpool.
Yeah. Yeah, this it sits with me.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's great. Purely for a few reasons, really. So my grandma's name's Judith. Okay. So I said little Jude, like hey Jude. And then I've just got some good memories of singing it with my granddad. My granddad loves it. We were recently in New York. It was his first time out to the States. So my mum's dad, my granddad Bill. So they came out to the States, and we went to Central Park. I went to Strawberry Fields and did all that, and there was a guy singing, and just having that memory with my granddad sitting and singing Hey Jude. And then I'm a Newcastle fan, and we sing it at the games. So
okay, I was wondering because music obviously for me is huge, and it's feels and nostalgia, so that just takes you back with your grandparents. Yeah, just reminds me of my grandma on my dad's side, my dad's mum, and then my granddad on my mum's side, and then obviously the tie with Newcastle as well, singing. Mm-hmm. I got one more. Let's listen to this real quick, and then you after we hear it. Is this the real life?
You can't not love this song.
Well, is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? How appropriate, how apropos for you being on Love Island, right? Now this song, let's listen to this beginning where he just says "Mama." It's so good. And they're from London.
I think so. I'm not sure. I think so. Mm-hmm. This is another karaoke one.
But I mean, who can sing this well?
I try.
How did that go?
Again, ask Chloe. Not very well a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. But I'd have to be 8-9 pints in.
This part just gets you right here. Don't you think?
4 or 5 different songs in one.
But just doesn't this get you in the gut? Just when he says, "Mama, just kill a man." Oh, Tom, you got chops.
No, I'm not. That's enough.
That's amazing. Wait, you guys, we just heard a whole nother side. We just heard like a real, like he's got some chops. All right, Tom Walker.
Yes.
This has not disappointed. This has been an absolute blast.
Let's do it again.
I would love to do it again. And I want to sincerely thank you for your vulnerability. I know it was hard to open up.
Yeah.
That has been a lot of pressure. I give you and Chloe all of the kudos in the world. Bravo to you guys for making it through a hard time and coming out even stronger. That's really what it's about.
Yeah.
I think you're both just incredible people. I could go on for a long time about that. Incredible human beings. Yes, it's amazing. And I'm so thrilled and honored that somehow the universe brought you guys into this little circle of Columbus, Ohio. So thank you.
Part of the SOS family now.
Yes, I love it.
Well and truly.
I love it. And for everybody out there, please follow your girl on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. And thank you guys so much for listening. Appreciate all of it. Have a great day. And until next time, keep moving.